Hello everyone, and welcome back to another week of council by-election roundup action. 3 this week to get into, so again quiet by our standards at the end of last year. 3 to look at this week and 3 to look at for next week as well. So if you're first time here, welcome. Please do hit the subscribe button and join the wonderful community we've got here and get involved down in the comments as we go through. I always enjoy hearing your guys' thoughts and opinions on everything. So straight in, Bradford Council, Worth Valley Ward, and look, a good result for the Conservatives. Okay, I spent a lot of the video last week going off on the Conservatives, saying about how their comeback was not on. I still don't think it is, but this is a good result for them. So Conservatives defending their own seat here in Worth Valley Ward, Bradford, one of the rural areas of Bradford Council, which some of you confirmed in the comments for me last week. Thank you for that. And the Tories got a very strong 52% of the vote, and they were the clear winners. Yes, they were down 5 points, but that's neither here nor there, frankly. So look, they managed to maintain over half of the vote here. That's very good news for them. Reform came in second place, a strong second place, but still, a long way behind the Tories. They came at 26.1% of the vote, which, of course, is the first time them standing there, so all the way up into second place. Labour falling off again by 19.6, let's call it 20 points. I've said in wards that they're defending, expect to see an average drop of 20 points. Look, as we go through this video, go through some of the other results, I think, and I mentioned it last week as well, that may well be a Conservative figure now. Let me know in the comments. Do you think we need to revise that figure? What percentage point drop are you expecting to see on average for Labour in particularly in wards that they were defending in May? That's what I'm interested to see. But they're down in third place, miles off the pace on 12%, and then the Greens on 7%, and the Lib Dems and others were there as well, not really making the board. So a good result for the Conservative Party. Like I said, if they are going to have a comeback, they need to start holding wards where they have done that, in all fairness to them. On a declining vote share, yes, but it's not a dramatic decline. It's, like I said, neither here nor there, about 5 points down. It's a good result for them, okay? So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. If they can keep slogging out these defences, then I suppose that's the first place to start. As I mentioned last week, they have defended a few this year already successfully, so perhaps there is signs of their vote at least holding up. But there's certainly no signs of them making gains, which would really be a comeback yet. So a good result for the Conservatives then. Majority of 25 points is very safe, and the turnout was 32% as well, so that's fairly healthy as well. Moving on, the other Thursday night election was Fletton and Woodston Ward in Peterborough, and this one much closer, very interesting. So this was a Labour defence. I sort of said last week in the video, I don't really know which way this was going to go. I know Peterborough has quite a strong independent and local party presence, but there's none of those standing this time around. And Reform have won. So Reform gain off of the Labour Party. They came straight in at 29.4%. So again, look, a good result for Reform to come in from having not stood before, standing start, straight in at first place. But it is, again, a very low vote share to win on. And look, you can see all the vote splitting that's happening behind them. The Greens came in second place, only 1.9 points behind, or 2 points behind, 27.6% of the vote for the Greens. So they came very, very close. And just look at Labour here, 17%, down 31.2 points. And look, this is what I mean. Do we need to revise this figure? Because it's, I think last week we had a 25-point drop as well. I think maybe 20-point drop on average in wards they're defending is potentially a little bit too generous for them. Maybe we need to be looking at 25 or even 30. But heavy losses again, and the Labour vote share condemned them to fourth place in this war that they were defending. That is, terrible. The Conservatives here were down 11 points to 21.8% of the vote. So this is what I mean. It's very mixed messages on the Tories at the moment. Good that they're holding up in some of these wards that they're defending. They're able to defend them, and the vote share is somewhat holding up. But then other places, I mean, look, it's not a catastrophic decline, is it? And 22% in the current climate is a respectable share of the vote. But it's still the vote share going in the wrong direction. So it is very difficult to tell, really, with them at the moment, I think. But they're certainly in a better place than Labour are. Labour is just seeing their vote share collapse, and it's only getting worse. I have to say, I wondered at a point late last year, have we reached the nadir? Because we were seeing these big fall-offs in Labour vote share in these elections, and I was wondering, is this the bottom? Have they bottomed? And they haven't. They're getting worse. It's really, really bad for Labour. So majority here for Reform was just 36 votes. Like I said, 2 percentage points ahead of the Green Party. Turnout here was 25%, so a little bit down. The last one for this week, Fishguard, North East in Pembrokeshire. Now, this election happened on the Tuesday evening. So it happened, like I said, I don't know why they happen on different days. I don't know if it's a Welsh thing, maybe. Not sure. But anyway, Pembrokeshire is where this election happened. And I have to raise my hand and apologise because I got my Welsh geography all off last week. I didn't say where in Wales I thought it was, but I had it all wrong in my head. I thought that this was in an area of Wales that might be more minded to vote for reform. It's not really in that part of the country at all. But Plaid still have done very well. This is an independent-dominated council. Plaid have gained it off of the Labour Party. Labour were defending. And Plaid here have come in, again, they didn't stand here last time. So this is, having not stood before, they got 33.8% of the votes, which again, in the current climate, is pretty good for share of the vote, in all honesty. Like, we just saw that Peterborough result. Frankly, these days, winning a ward with more than 30% of the vote is quite good. So, 33.8% of the vote for Plaid. Labour, again, look, let's just see that they were defending the ward. They got 11% of the vote, down 48 points. I've said on a video in the past, I think it's probably on one of my May local election preview videos that I did, that I'm not going to be surprised to see quite a number of these in May. There's areas in London. I think there was some in Barking, or that area maybe, where we looked at where they had 80% of the vote before, 70% of the vote, something like that. Same in the northeast. I think there was some areas, some councils up there had wards where they had vote shares higher than 70% in the last election, and I don't see them holding up. There's no evidence to suggest they're going to hold up, and these huge drops of almost 50 points. Like I say, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be common, but then I think they're going to be, well, I don't know, it's not uncommon. Let's just say that it's just going to be catastrophic for Labour, and the areas where they previously dominated with huge vote shares. I think a lot of them they're going to lose, and they're going to lose quite dramatically. And some of them they may be closer than this in terms of the end result. But yeah, and for this one, I should put the disclaimer out there. I did make the disclaimer last week that previously there was only two parties running. But to go from previously 58.9% of the vote down to 11, that is nonetheless a catastrophic result. You can put some of the drop down to there being more people on the ballot paper, but not that much. Okay, so this is a disastrous result for Labour. That is terrible. The Liberal Democrats actually came in second place here. They got 18% of the vote. Again, didn't stand last time because obviously it was just the two. So look, that is interesting. They finished in second place, they're comfortably behind Plaid and Plaid Cymru. Sorry, one of you did say I have to say Plaid Cymru because Plaid just means party. And Reform in third place. They got just under 13% of the vote, and then various others. We've seen Labour on 11. And Independent got 11 as well. And the Tories, I mean, let's not ignore those, I suppose. They're down 32%, 32 points as well. So like I say, some of that can go down to the fact there was only two people on the ballot paper last time, and this time there was far more, but not all of it. They're down to less than 10% in a ward where they got 41% of the vote last time. So this is what I mean. The Tories are not out of dodge, are they? There might be some shoots of hope, but they're certainly not out of dodge. So look, a good result for Plaid Cymru this week, winning in Pembrokeshire. Their majority was just under 16 points, and the turnout here was a very impressive 48.7%. And that is all of our by-election roundups for this week. So we will now move swiftly on to look ahead to next week. So, like I say, another 3 next week as well. And we start, once again, over in Wales, actually, Van Ward in Caerphilly. And again, it's another one where last time out there was only 2 people on the ballot paper. So there's going to be some changes to the vote share here. Labour are defending again, which I'm sure they're going to be very nervous about. 54.7% of the vote they got last time. Now, look, we saw what happened to Labour's vote share in the Caerphilly Senedd by-election that happened at the end of last year. It tanked all the way down to, I think it's about 11%, was it? Remind me in the comments. But yeah, I expect to see similar here. The same sort of drop we've just seen for them in Pembrokeshire, I expect to see repeated here. Obviously, Plaid Cymru standing once again. They obviously came just short with 45% of the vote last time. And again, 4 people on the ballot paper this time around rather than the 2. Is this going to be the Plaid versus Reform rematch in Caerphilly? How do you think this one will go? Well, it's difficult to tell when there's only 2 on the ballot paper before. One, I think, would favour Plaid Cymru based off the fact that they ran Labour close last time. in this ward, and the fact they did win that by-election as well, maybe goes into Plaid Cymru's favour. But look, I expect Reform to perform pretty well here, based off what they did in that by-election as well. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. We've also got a by-election in Stonygate ward in Leicester. Again, it's a Labour defence. In fact, all three of these are Labour defences. So it could be another heavy night for the Labour Party. Labour, they got 40% of the vote last time. So a decent winning margin looking at those coloured bars there. Leicester... interested to hear your thoughts on this one. I can't say I'm all that up to date with how things might go in that part of the world, so do let me know. Again, it's another one we've got loads on the ballot paper this time around. So last time there was 5 on the ballot paper, and this time there is going to be 8 on the ballot paper. So a lot to choose from. It's going to be, again, I'm sure, a low vote share winning this, I expect, just based on the fact there's so many people on the ballot paper. So we could be seeing, again, a winner on, 28, 29% of the vote. And let's see what happens to that Labour vote. Again, you say 40% or 41% of the vote they're defending. Expect to see a large decline, probably. It depends how much that vote gets split beneath them. If they lose... I mean, what would be a reasonable for them these days? 15 points off their vote, they might win it. Although it might be a little bit far-fetched. But yeah, look, I doubt they'll hold on here, and we'll just have to wait and see how that vote splits below them. Localist parties and 2 independents standing as well kind of muddies the water too. So if you have info, if you're from the area, do let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen in Leicester next week. And then lastly, next week we've got Zetland Ward, Redcar and Cleveland. And again, look, this is Labour defending. As I said, all 3 are Labour defences. 46.8% of the vote they got last time out. Remember, Redcar and Cleveland was, until a few weeks after that by-election, the largest vote share that Reform had ever got in a by-election, and they beat Labour that night, and they got over 60% of the vote. So we'll keep a keen eye on what Reform do this time around. Interestingly, the Lib Dems actually came a pretty strong second in the last time this was up in 2023, with 35% of the vote themselves. So look, that's not a bad result either. Maybe that makes the Lib Dems favourites. Again, let me know what you think. But with that performance that we saw from Reform in Redcar and Cleveland before, and obviously it's a different ward, so it's not the exact same, but one would expect them to do very well here. So that's all of our by-elections to look forward to next week. 3 again lined up for us. So thank you all for watching. Just before I go, I'd like to say thank you for the feedback I got in the comments last week with regards to the short videos that I've been making. I saw someone said I should think about putting them on TikTok. I think that's a very good suggestion. I've avoided being on TikTok all this time, but that is probably a very good suggestion. So thank you for that. I haven't been able to make any this week, unfortunately. I've been too busy, which is a shame because obviously with all the shenanigans that happened on Monday with Anna Sarwar calling for Starmer to resign, it would have been a good one, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to make one this week. So I'll try and make them as and when I can. They take a bit more work actually than these do because there's a lot of editing involved with them, but I quite enjoy doing them. So thank you again. Please, if you didn't leave a feedback last week, please feel free to leave feedback this week with regards to those, and I'll try and improve them as we go along. So thank everybody for watching. If you've got this far and you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, of course, and please do, of course, get involved in the comments with all of your takes and opinions on all the things we've discussed today and more. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.